Hi and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how I created my fabric doll, the mini-me Coraline doll. I did find a pattern online that I did alter and change quite a bit for the base doll. If you would like this bundle of patterns for the clothing and the base doll, I will go ahead and leave a link down below where you can get it. I used this flesh color stretch material for the body. I cut out 4 pieces for the legs, 4 pieces for the arms, 3 for the head, and 2 for the torso. Since the pattern I found has a head that's way too small, I did scale it up by using Photoshop and scale it up about 4 times its normal size. I also wanted the ears and the nose more prominent than the original pattern, so I just extended the nose and the ears out. And I know most people are using clay to make the heads for these dolls. However, this is going to my daughter, and I did not want it breaking on her. Once those pieces are all traced on fabric and cut out, I went ahead and sewed every single one and then flipped them right sides out. And once the head and the body were sewn together, I did stuff them with pillow fluff. And then I pinned the bottom of the body shut. I will be adding the legs into the seam after they're sewn together and stuffed. For the head, the face part is actually 2 pieces because I wanted the nose more prominent. So that is actually 2 pieces to make the face itself. And then once those 2 pieces were connected, I went ahead and sewed it to the back of the head. Later on, I do create a different head. This one is actually just from the pattern. I was trying it out. I did ladder stitch the head closed just to kind of give me an idea of how big I need to create the new head. As you can see, this is a teeny tiny head for Coraline. But I made the bigger head exactly the same way. And now I'm going to go ahead and sew the arms and legs together. Because the arms and the legs are fairly thin, I went ahead and used a loop turner to flip them. And once they're flipped, I go ahead and stuff them with pillow flip. And then I attach the top of the legs. I push those into the seam at the bottom of the torso, and I stitch it all together all the way across the legs. And because I make the clothes non-removable, this seam will not be shown. And then I just repeat the same thing with the arms. However, I do not put a seam in the side of the doll to insert the arms in. I just ladder stitch those onto the side of the torso. And once the new head is done, I go ahead and stitch it onto the neck. However, I wish I would have inserted a wire into the torso because the head is a bit big and heavy and it just flops around now. But I guess that's okay because it's supposed to be a rag doll anyways. And for the hair, I use this blue yarn, and I just try to create the hairline that Coraline actually has. Once her hair is done, I go ahead and sew on black buttons for the eyes. I do also put a dab of E6000 glue behind these eyes so they don't pop off. With the hair sewn on, I do use quick tacky glue and I glue down the hairs. For the coat, I just made up a pattern that looks like a long trench coat, made a mock-up, and then tried it on my doll to make sure it fit. And the coat consists of 3 pieces for the main body of it, 2 sleeves, and a hood. And for the fabric of the coat, I did use this yellow flannel material. And with the coat pieces cut out, I go ahead and sew the shoulder seams together and the back seam together. Once those 3 seams are done, I go ahead and open it up, and then I attach the sleeves. And once these sleeves are attached, I go ahead and sew the back seam of the hood up and then attach it to the collar of the coat. And with the sleeves on and the collar on, I go ahead and flip it right side to right side. I sew the bottom seam of the sleeve and go all the way down to the bottom of the coat. And with the edges and seams of the coat, since it's too small to be lined, I go ahead and pink the seam allowance down, and then I use fray check on the edges. With the coat set aside, I go ahead and trim up the doll's hair because I will be making the skirt, tights, and the shirt. With the tights, I go ahead and use this black and gray stretched material. I just put the doll on the material and then traced around the doll and made tights. And like I said, I made the clothes non-removable, so I do actually sew this at the waist on the doll. And for the skirt of this doll, I just made up a simple circle skirt, a half circle skirt with 3 layers. This black cotton is the overlayer, then a black chiffon underneath it, and then a white poly cotton layer underneath that. And this skirt has a black ribbon for its waistband. And I connect the 3 layers at the waist, and then I add the ribbon for the waistband. But before I add the waistband, I do gather the skirt at the waist to fit the doll. Ignore me sewing up that side seam because I made a mistake and it was too small to deal with, so I had to unpick it later on. To finish the edging on this skirt for the black chiffon layer, I do put a flame to it so it melts the edges. The white layer, I go ahead and pink, and then the white layer and the black cotton layer, I go ahead and use Mod Podge to finish the edges. And once the Mod Podge is dry, I go ahead and sew up each skirt at the back seam. And once the seams are sewn on the skirt, I go ahead and put the doll in it, and I just pin it on for right now because I still need to make the shirt. For the shirt, I use this pink and hot pink stretch material. I could not find the material I really wanted, so this is what I made do with. And to make the pattern for this shirt, I just put the doll on the stripe material and then I traced her out. This pattern consists of 5 pieces, 1 for the front, 2 for the back, and the 2 sleeves. And to finish the edging on this shirt, I did go ahead and use Mod Podge before I sewed it up. And while waiting for the Mod Podge to dry, I go ahead and work on the buttons. I could not find teeny tiny yellow buttons to go on the coat, so I took some black ones that I had and I painted them yellow. And I wanted to add more dimension to the hair and kind of cover up some of the bald spots that I noticed. I took 3 different colors of blue and I blended them in to give the hair a little bit more definition and to cover those spots. I did glue down the hair on top and underneath it when I was gluing the hair earlier. And with the hair drying, I go ahead and put the shirt together. I do it similar to way I did on the coat. I sewed up the side seams for the front and the back 2 pieces of the shirt, then connected the sleeves and then sewed the sleeve seams and the side seams up together. And this is a turtleneck shirt. And once the shirt is done, I go ahead and flip it right side out and add it to the doll. And I do sew the back seam up, hand stitching with a ladder stitch. And once the shirt's on, I go ahead and stitch up the skirt. And put the jacket on. I do use E6000 glue to glue the coat on by the arms. And then now it's time to attach the button. I did use 7 buttons on the left hand side of the coat. For the shoes, I just kept them simple. I just made a little bag with one seam and sewed those up, fray checked the raw edge, and then glued them to the feet. And with the clothes all done, I go ahead and use embroidery floss and create the mouth, the eyebrows, and all the freckles. And I do fray check all those freckles and anywhere I put the embroidery floss. I almost forgot this, her little bow in her hair. I did take some craft foam and I painted it the pink pale color, and then I E6000 it to her partner hair. And with that done, it's done. And it came out really cute, better than I expected it to. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next week. Bye.